Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Memoir of My Banking Journey by Mr. V.H. Ramakrishnan, Retired General Manager of Bank of India. Episode number 33. The chapter A Banking Journey Begins is continuing. The link of earlier episodes is available in the description. A banking journey begins. Turning point 1. Saturday, 19th February 1966. Around 10 a.m., AKR called me. He told me that the cash book of a particular day about 5 days back was not balanced. The department had tried its best to locate the difference but could not. Because of this, general ledger could not be posted for 5 days. He added, "You are a chartered accountant. Please try to help them in locating the difference." I went to the department. K. Gopal was the clerk, who later became a very close friend. It took me about 30 minutes to understand the system. It was a three-column cash book, which was called a cash contra book. The three columns were cash, clearing, and transfer on debit side as well as the credit side. Once I understood the system, I started checking methodically. Within 20 minutes, I located the difference. I still feel it was sheer luck. I went to AKR and told him that the cash book was balanced. He exclaimed, "Really?" He just could not believe it. I came back to my seat. Within 5 minutes, Mr. Kopiker, who was the sub manager, came to my seat and shook my hands and said, "Young man, what magic did you perform?" I felt quite happy. After he left, to my surprise, one by one, all the officers and many clerks of the bank came to my seat and introduced themselves and congratulated me. The ice was broken. It was as if I had overnight become a hero. I just could not believe the turn of events. Turning point 2. Monday, 21st Feb. AKR called me and told me to take charge of cash book department and to relieve Sita Verma. She was not very happy. I took charge of the department. The thought of resignation vanished from my mind. When the next Friday came, I had a peach melba before me. The loud noise of Forex department was now music to my ears. Dress code. There was an unwritten dress code for the probationary officers in 60s. White pant, white shirt and a tie. Main branches of many banks in Chennai were situated in and around Armenian Street and Erabalu Chetty Street. During lunchtime, these streets would be full of youngsters sporting the dress mentioned above. Morning walk at Marina. A couple of days later, I moved in to my uncle's house. My cousin Robinson asked me whether I was interested in joining him for a morning walk at the Marina Beach. I nodded my head and very enthusiastically, as usual, without realizing what was in store for me. Next morning, he woke me up when it was still dark. I asked him what the time was. He said 4:30. I was taken aback. I asked him whether he had to go so early. He replied in the affirmative. Out of courtesy, since he was elder to me, I did not grumble loudly. I was ready within 10 minutes. He started the Fiat car, and within 5 minutes he stopped at Avon Milk Booth. In those days, there was no home delivery of milk packets. He bought about 5 packets, and we went back home and dropped the milk packets at the doorstep, and then proceeded to Marina Beach. He parked the car near the roundabout. It was also called Sandhome Beach. There is a Gandhi statue there now. From there, we walked to Triplicane Marina Beach, opposite to Presidency College. There's a statue from for Carnegie, a historical figure installed later. Now, to my surprise, my cousin did not turn back but started walking along Pycroft's road just opposite to the beach. When I asked him the reason, he told me to silently follow him. I was very curious, but I walked along with him. He entered a by lane. There was a small coffee shop. He ordered coffee for us. After the walk, the coffee tasted good. Then he made me promise that I should not mention about this coffee drinking business to his mother. We walked back to Sandhome Beach with renewed energy and reached home before 7 a.m. My aunt was ready and freshly made filter coffee. Frankly, I had no appetite for a second cup within an hour, but Ramazan winked at me and drank the coffee. I also followed suit. This drama of secret coffee continued for about 3 months till I shifted to my own apartment. Robinson is now 81 and I seek his forgiveness for revealing an old secret. I have a lingering doubt that my aunt, being a shrewd lady, knew about it and but just played along. Talking of Pycroft's Road brings many memories about some eateries which I would like to share with the readers. They were and are unique. Sorry for disgracing from banking. I want to give a glimpse of life in the 60s at Chennai. The first is about Coimbatore Krishna Iyer sweet stall. He used to sell only badam halwa, which freshly made with pure ghee. I think he sold only badam halwa and no other sweets. No carryover stocks. My vague memory is that it would be made then and there. Unfortunately, the shop is no more in existence. People in Madurai would remember the famous N- Nagapattinathan halwa made of wheat. This shop is more than 100 years old and is still there. The next place is Murali's Cafe. It was a popular restaurant in those days. It was a practice before 70s to write on the name board of the hotel, Brahmin's Hotel, to indicate that it was a pure vegetarian hotel. In Tamil, they also would clearly Brahmana Hotel. Anyone can enter the hotel. In fact, all the communities who wanted to take vegetarian food would eat at the hotels with the name board Brahmin's Hotel. However, a political party called Dravida Karagam, the parent party of DMK, suddenly objected to the words Brahmins Hotel. They had anti Brahminism as one of their ideals. They gave an ultimatum to the Brahmins Hotel to remove the word Brahmins. Otherwise, they threatened to start an agitation and picketing in front of such hotels. Many owners changed their name boards in order to avoid any confrontation with the DK. But Murli Cafe refused to change the board under threat. If my memory is correct, initially the agitators tried to put a black paint over the word Brahmins, but police prevented such an action. Then every day a group of about 10 party workers, would gather outside the hotel in the evening and shout slogans. The police would drive them away. This happened every day, but then the number got reduced to about 5 or 6. The Hindu started reporting in the city news which about this agitation, mentioning 200th day, 201st day, and like a cricket score. The owner of Murali Cafe did not budge. After 365 days, the party withdrew its agitation. The next day, the hotel removed the words Brahmins Hotel and replaced it with Vegetarian Hotel. The owner proved that no one can force him to do something. While writing about my Vellore experiences, I had mentioned about Ratna Cafe of Chennai. It was famous for its idli and sambar. In fact, one can say that sambar was the main dish and idli was the side dish. The plate would be full of sambar and the idlis would be browned in it. The waiter would do the rounds with a sambar bucket for second and third helping. The cafe, I think, is still going strong. Pycroft's Road, Triplicane, was considered as the paradise of bachelors. The road was full of lodges and with bachelor rooms. The main attraction was hotel serving only meals. Such hotels were known as mess. One could buy a monthly ticket consisting of 30 coupons, which they would be cheaper than daily tickets. Many of them served homely food. The most famous mess was called Saidoji Lane Mess. This was run by a person from my native place, Valiur. He was a very strict man. He laid down three rules. First, no one would sip the water from the stainless steel tumbler. He should lift it and pour it into mouth with the tumbler not touching the lips. This condition was for hygiene purposes. Second, one should not waste any food. The plantain leaf on which the food was served should be clean and should not have any leftovers. You would serve the side dishes as many times as you want, but no wastage. Third, thick curd of excellent quality would be given in a cup. You should not put your finger to empty it into your leaf. The spoon would be provided by him for that purpose. The owner would not give monthly coupons immediately. You would be on probation for a month. You would be observed only if you were satisfied with your manners at the dinner table. He would provide you with monthly coupon at discounted price. The quality of food was of a very high order. I have seen people criticizing the owner for his rules, but they would eat there only. I had gone there quite a few times. I do not know whether the mess is still running. Lessons I learned: never come to a hasty decision. Always wait for some time. Things may change suddenly for the better. Tailways First, Marina Beach was the ideal place for the lovers to meet. They would sit behind the country boards. Young boys would sell them what is called sundal, shouting "Thenga Manga Patani Sundal." It was a mixture of coconut, raw mango, and peas made into a dry sabzi. Another popular item was roasted peanuts. After 8 p.m., kulfis kept in a mud pot would be sold. Chats were unknown. Charts were unknown. Late in the 70s or so, one Brahmin family making hot potato bhajiyas with a gas stove on the beach. It was sold like they say hot cakes. The wife will fry, husband would collect the money, and children would deliver. What a startup! Soon after the competition started, other families also descended. Then came Bhel Puri, etc. Second, my uncle, Mr. Sivaraman, once told me about his evening walk with Angana Chettiar, name changed on the marina. They started with they started walking from Triplicane Marina Beach. The Plymouth car of the Chettiar slowly followed. After about 100 feet, Chettiar stopped. Immediately, the car also stopped. The driver came out with two plates of some pakoras. The walking continued with munching of snacks. Once the snacks were finished, Chettiar stopped. So also the car. Now the driver came out with sundal in two bowls. After finishing the sundal, it was the turn of roasted groundnuts. By the time the groundnuts were finished, Chettiar got into the car and told my uncle that this was his daily routine and it would keep him fit. Closing work. Once I took charge of cash book, I was very comfortable. I had an excellent clerk, K. Gopalan. He used to look very serious, but appearance was deceptive. He became a great friend. He again worked with me when I was in charge of small scale industries department. At that time, he had become an officer. I can write a lot about him, but I'm reserving it for another occasion. Otherwise, the flow of this narration will be affected. I will only say that Gopalan is still in touch with me. When I joined, Mr. Sonalkar had already moved out of Chennai. Mr. P.M. Hopikar had reported as the sub-manager. I had mentioned about Mr. Hopikar earlier. He had returned to India after a long stint in Japan. Very strong in English. Well dressed and stylish. Fond of cricket and playing cards, he would never lose his temper. In his younger days, he had done weightlifting. He used to make frequent rounds of the branch every day. He would enter the annexure about around 3 p.m. and look at me with a question mark on his face. I would tell him that the cash book is balanced. With a with an appreciative smile, he would walk away. This was a daily routine. That smile used to motivate us to ensure that we balance the cash book in time. In addition to cash book, I had my usual quota of ledger checking in the evening. I faced the first closing work on 30th June 1966. It was quite exciting. The closing was on 29 June night. It was a full working day. 30th June banks would remain closed for customers so close so that closing work could be completed and new ledgers opened. The practice in our bank was balance all the ledgers on 29th night itself. The cash book would be balanced on the same night. Then we would extract the profit figure. The branch would send a telegram to head office conveying the amount of profit or loss. All the branches should directly send the profit figures to head office by telegram. On 30th morning, the head office would know the profit figure of the bank. The staff of the Madras Bank had the practice of going for a late night movie after balancing the books, preceded by a dinner. It was expected that by 8:30 p.m. all the ledgers would be balanced. However, since I was in charge of cash book, I knew I could not complete my work by 8:30, so I opted out. Many officers would stay back until the telegram was sent. The regional manager, sub-manager, accountant, and test key control officers would definitely say the profit figure should be tested. Luckily, we could balance the cash book by about 10:30. After sending the telegram, we went home by 11 p.m. Three incidents came to my mind regarding closing, though they happened during later closings. First, D.N. Raman was a direct recruit officer who joined in 1966 or so. He was a six-footer and gold medalist from Kerala University. Very simple and innocent. On the closing day evening, he went to AKR for something. The latter told him, Raman, today you cannot go home early. You may have to sit till midnight. Raman very innocently told him, Sir, etere manigellam ennaku pasikume. I will feel hungry around 8:30. AKR laughed and told him that he could take time off to go and eat in a nearby hotel. Second, I had mentioned that Mr. K.P. Shah, the manager of Madras branches, used to walk into the banking hall very rarely. Whenever he entered the banking hall, there would be pin drop silence. His routine was to come to the office at 10 a.m. Then he would go to home for lunch at around 1 p.m. and would be back by 2 p.m. By 5 p.m., he would leave and go to Mount Road branch to pick up his daughter, who was working as an officer there. Then both would go to the Marina Beach for a walk before going home. But on closing day, he would stay till up. about 8 p.m. That day, he would walk into the banking hall in the evening. Once he came inside and asked about the interest income from cash credit. When he was told the figure, that he simply said, "I think there is a mistake. Please check again." He proved to be right. I realized at that time what a great banker he was. Third, in one of the closings, 1968 or 67 or 68, one ledger did not balance till 11. There was one senior officer called S.V. Krishnan. He came to our bank from either State Bank or Bikaner and Jaipur or Bank of Jaipur, who was the second officer to check the test key. His presence was essential to send the telegram to head office. He got fed up by the delay. He said that it was ridiculous to stay throughout the night for the sake of sending the telegram. He said heaven would not fall if the telegram was sent the next morning. He informed Akia that he was going home and walked away. The ledger was balanced at around 12:30. Then an officer was sent by taxi to Mr. Krishn's house to fetch him. He came to the office in his nightdress at 1:30 and the telegram was sent. The story is not over. Head office was informed about this incident and Mr. Krishnan was summoned by head office and was reprimanded. Unforgettable advice. During my first year, Mr. R.C. Mehta, who was the assistant general manager, only one AGM visited Chennai. Bank called all the officers for a meeting with him at Hotel Ashoka. He addressed us. That was the first time I was seeing an executive from head office. He spoke very well. He gave a piece of advice which I never forgot in my life. He said, "Never refuse any assignment given to you. Even if you do not know anything about the assignment, accept it. Take it as a challenge. It would help you in the long run." As usual, little did I know that within a couple of years, I was going to face such a situation that was going to change my career path. I would write about it shortly. Manual of instructions. I was told about the manual of instructions. They were kept under lock and key by Mr. AKR. I once requested him permission to take home during weekend. He flatly refused and said that the manual should not leave the bank and that I should read them only in the bank. That was impossible. Routine work kept me busy till late in the evening, so I could read very little. Visit of Mr. R.P. Vaidya. Mr. Vaidya was heading the Organization and Methods Department (O&M) at head office. It was a very powerful department during those days. Assessment of staff strength was one of the functions of the department. Mr. Vaidya was actively associated with the preparation of the manuals. He was on a day's visit to Madras. I had almost completed 1 year of the cash book. As the department was running smoothly, nobody thought of shifting me. I also did not take any initiative. A sub-staff came and told me that Mr. Vaidya was calling me. I was surprised. Later, I came to know that he was having a one-to-one meeting with newly recruited officers. That was my first meeting with him, a powerful and assertive personality. He was aware of my qualification. He asked me whether I had to read manual of instructions. I replied in the negative. I told him that I was not allowed to take them home. He said he would talk to Akia to give me permission to take them home. Then he asked about my work. I told him that I was in the cash book department for the past 1 year. He was not happy, but he did not tell me anything. I came out happily since that was the first exposure to a head office executive. I came to know that later where they had a soft corner of people with high qualifications. As usual, little did I know that he was to play a major role in my career path. The day after Mr. Vaidya left, I went to AKR and said Vaidya had permitted me to take manuals home. But AKR said he will say, but I am responsible for the safekeeping. You cannot take them home. A week after Vaidya went back to Bombay, Mr. KP Shah called me to his cabin. In fact, that was the first time I entered his cabin after my interview. He informed me that a letter had come from the head office advising him to transfer me to the advances department. He asked me what happened during Vaidya's visit. I told him what transpired. Within 24 hours, I was shifted from cash book to the advances department. A few people I cannot forget. Fun. During my early days, I had moved with many colleagues. It is not possible to write about all of them. Still, I propose to write about a few, one at a time under the above heading. I want to start with Mr. N. Sampath. He was a national leader of AIBE. He would make his appearance only once in a blue moon because he was always busy with the union activities at an all India level. He always used to talk to me in a friendly manner, always dressed in dhoti and shirt. He had a seat in the securities department, a simple man who had dedicated his entire life to the welfare of bank employees. When I became a GM, I was asked to make a presentation to the association and union representatives on a particular subject. I was happy to see Mr. Sampath as one of the representatives. Lessons I learned: senior executives should take interest in the career path of juniors. I tried my best to imbibe this quality from Mr. Vaidya. Tailpiece marathon talking. On one Saturday, a clerk came out after finishing his work. He was on his way home. Outside the branch, he found Mr. P.S. Narayan, President of Officers Association, and another officer standing and talking. He greeted them and took a bus and went home. Since he had some personal work near the office in the evening, he came back at around 4:30 and passed through the office. He was amazed to see Mr. P.S.A. and the officer still standing and talking. Advances Department. My moving to Advances Department also coincided with the transfer of Mr. K.P. Shah from Chennai. I think he went to Ahmedabad. Mr. B.G. Karnik relieved him. Mr. Karnik was a man of details. His letters to head office would run into pages. Long telexes would go to head office. He was very knowledgeable and would go through the papers thoroughly. A very serious looking personality. It was very rare to see him laugh. I had mentioned about his reporting to HO under tailpieces earlier. There were two officers in Advances Department. As mentioned earlier, Swami was in charge. There was another officer, Sadanand Zaveri. Loans Department functioned independently with Mr. A.V. Ramanathan as in charge. Swami was very pleasant personality. I can never forget his smile. Difficult to describe. A shy smile. Later on, he was posted as the first manager of Gundan branch and did a wonderful job. He was selected for Hong Kong. At the end of his term, at the request of the CE, he was given extension for another term. Met him in Bombay when I was in BOIFIN. He was chief manager international, and I used to give him lift quite often. I really enjoyed his company. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years back. A.V. Ramanathan was also a grade 1 officer much senior to me. His father, Mr. Vedaranyam, was accountant of Central Bank of India and was well known in banking circles. A.V. was tall with good personality, but somehow he could not progress much in the bank. Zaveri was a matriculate, very intelligent, good in spoken and written English. He had a beautiful handwriting. We had a system of recording oral assent for creating equitable mortgages. Sabir used to write the narration for creating oral assent in the register, which would run into a couple of big pages. Not a single mistake or overwriting. He was always proud of his work. We became very good friends. Later on, due to personal reasons, he asked for a transfer to Delhi. When I visited Delhi during early 70s for a holiday, he insisted on spending a day at his house with my family. He had three lovely children. We had a good time. When I was abroad, I heard the sad news that he died due to injuries caused when a wedding shamayana caught fire. A very untimely death. His wife Chitra joined the bank. When I visited bank as CEO of BOI Finance, I called on Chitra. Felt very sad to see the condition of the family without the head. Later on, I was zonal manager. I met Chitra again. She was working at Nehru Place branch. Back to 1967, I was asked to take care of all packing credit accounts. Swami continued to deal with large borrowers. Sometimes I used to feel that I was not getting any exposure on large advances. I felt I was underutilized, but I did not complain, nor did I worry about seniority issues since both Swami and Zaveri treated me with a lot of respect and friendship. Still, I could not help the feeling at that time that Swami did not want to lose control of his position as in charge of advances. I knew it was difficult to share power or hand over power. In hindsight, I feel I could have taken some initiative to grab more work. Those days, we had a local advisory committee. All major proposals would be placed before the committee. With their recommendations, the regional manager could sanction higher limits. If my memory is right, proposals to head office should have the views of committee. We had eminent persons in the committee. Mr. A.L. Mudaliar, Vice Chancellor of the Madras University, was the chairman. Mr. A. M. V. Arunachalam of TI Group and another businessman were other members. It was like a mini board meeting between them. They knew all the business people of Tamil Nadu. We had to prepare proposals with a covering memorandum. Mr. Karnik would be like a high tension wire before the meeting, so we would carefully avoid him. Swami was a very calm and quiet person. He would never show any stress or tension, very fond of Carnatic music. But he could be very tense or half and for half an hour once in 6 months. His wife was an approved artist of All India Radio. She would get a chance to sing for half an hour once in 6 months. Those days it used to be a live program, not a recorded one. Invariably, she would get a time slot between 11 and 12 on a working day. Swami would come with a small transistor radio to the office, no FM in those days. He had to get it on medium wave or short wave. He would be restless from 10 a.m. He would warn all of us that he should not be disturbed while listening to the radio. Exactly 5 minutes before, he would go out into the open area, adjunct to the main hall. It was also a smoke corner, and stand there with the transistor glued to his ears. The radio would make all sorts of sounds. He would somehow manage to listen to the concert. Even if the regional manager calls, he would not go. The sub staff would have been briefed already as to what excuse should be given. Many of our export customers were in leather and skin business with own tanneries. A peculiar aspect what was that this business was dominated by Brahmins and Muslims. I remember one of our customers, no harm in naming them after so many years, came Adam and Co. They were exporting snake skins. Their factory was near Gindi. I had to go quite often for inspection. The smell would reach you even when you were half a kilometer away. A lot of skins peeled from the dead snakes would be under various processes. I would never feel like having my lunch after this inspection. This company was doing roaring business. Later on, the government banned the export of snake skins. We had another Brahmin exporter of skins, not snake skins. He was fond of drinks, dealt with a few banks. He celebrated the Brahmopadisam sacred thread ceremony of his son one day. In the evening, he called the bankers for the reception and entertained them in a separate room in his bungalow with whiskey. I could not reconcile these two events. I was not invited, but AKR went. New recruits. During 1966, more and more officers joined as direct recruits. One of them was a Keralite with a charming personality. Yes, you might have guessed it. It was Mr. M. Venugopalan who rose to the position of chairman and had the distinction of being first insider to become CMD for after nationalization. Even though Mr. Dahotre had worked as GM in BOI, he became to us from SBI. Many officers joined in various branches. Mr. Ranjana Kumar joined in Hyderabad. Mr. P.S. Shinoy joined in Kunur branch. I'm just mentioning the names of officers who reached the number one position. Weekend delight. I used to look forward to Saturdays for two reasons. Half a day working, then Venkatachalam initiated me into swimming. Initially, we started going from the office direct into the Marina swimming pool close to the beach. I learned my swimming there. After the swimming, we used to go to the Buhari Hotel on the side of the swimming pool. Nothing to beat their bun butter jam. Added to what they had, a jukebox. We could drop a coin and choose a film song. Later on, we felt that the water would be quite clean in the morning. Venkatachalam used to pick me up at 7 and we would carry the official dress in a bag. Went for swimming, followed by breakfast, same bun butter jam, then proceeded to the office. Used to feel really fresh when I reached the office. A few people I cannot forget too. Mr. M.R. Krishnan, a senior union leader with a difference, boyish look, thick specs, Palghat accent. During office hours, he would be immersed in his work, would rarely spend time for union matters during business hours. He had foreign exchange for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would say, addicted to foreign exchange. I think throughout his service, he worked only in the FE department. Perhaps only one belonging to a ward staff category invited to give lectures at training colleges. I understand he was invited by other institutes also to deliver talks, even post retirement. I remember an incident which happened in the 70s. One of the SSI customers casually told me that he had a meeting with the regional manager and when he came out, the sepoy of the RM, he was called Jamidar, asked for some bakshish and he gave them 2 rupees. I mentioned this to one of my clerks. He went and reported to MRK. Next day, MRK came to me with 2 rupees and told me that he was sorry that one of the members of the union had behaved like this. He said he had collected the money from the errand sepoy. He requested me to return the money to the customer and also advised him not to entertain such requests. If only Amartya had opted for promotion, he would definitely have reached a top position in the bank. I salute him. Lessons I learned: small gestures go a long way in cementing the friendship. See tailpiece. Tailpiece. First, Mr. Karnik loved driving his car. He had two problems. He was new to Madras, since he did not know the language. Second, he did not know the language. The bank's bungalow for the RM was and still is in Orms Road, Kilpauk. If he asked someone to go how to go to Ormus Road, men did not know where that road was. So Mr. Karnik found a solution. He knew how to reach home from Central Railway Station. He would ask people how to go to Central Railway Station. That was easy. He would get clear instructions. He would first reach Central Station and then proceed towards its house. Second, Swami had a large circle of friends in the bank. When he was leaving for Hong Kong, I went to the airport to see him off. I was surprised to see that I was the only one, apart from his family members, who was there. Swami was very much touched and sent me a beautiful card from HK. He continued to send me nice cards every year. P.S. I'm trying my best to narrate the events chronologically. I have to cover a 10-year journey, but since I do not maintain any diaries, I may go a little to and fro in time. I seek your pardon. Next week, a journey to Kunur that changed my career path. The chapter, A Banking Journey, is continuing. Thank you very much for your patience. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel.